Hey everyone, welcome back to Sonder County. You may notice that it is completely blank and that I'm starting over. That's because I discovered that my save data was deleted. But that's okay because I have a lot of things planned and I did a lot in this episode and I kind of want to show you guys off. What I started doing right here was just outlining where the power lines are going, just really making sure that it looks nice since this is going to be like showcased a lot. And then I moved into the road builder tool to create some slip lines because I decided to make a custom interchange. This is me experimenting with some of the medians around the road markings. I wanted sort of a suburban style to a lot of my roads, which includes having like the trees on the side and all sorts of things. And this is me right here just outlining it and making sure that it is even. And then this is where I started to test out with the off-ramps. I removed some of the little power lines so I had some room to work with, and then I adjusted the nodes so that it was nice and even. Following that, I then took an off-ramp or a highway ramp and I edited some of the lines right here, as you can see, with the traffic node tool. And then this was when I went in with my custom interchange. Being that the town of Oxbow is a small town, it's a very tight-knit community, I didn't really need to do a lot in order to get the interchange that I wanted, considering the fact that it needed to be small since it wasn't a huge town. Since small communities do not have long on ramps, they typically honestly they look like this like most of the time. And then I went in with a couple stamp tools to make sure that it actually looked realistic. I'm pretty sure that roundabout stamp might be incorrect, but I don't know. And then this was me just kind of looking. I looked at some of the stamps that I did download because I downloaded them blindly, and I was like, oh, cool, we have a tennis court and a basketball court now. So that's pretty nice. I created my main arterial just along down here. I wanted this community to be very based off of nature, and before I started recording, I did end up creating a couple of custom roads, and then this was me creating some more slip lanes. Again, just because it is a small town doesn't mean it needs to have sucky traffic. So I wanted to make sure that the max population that this town will probably have is like 10,000, which honestly isn't too big, especially because I live in a town with 12,000 people. It's not very big. It's just, well, it is decently big, but it's not very dense, and that's kind of what I was going for. So you're gonna see a lot of single-family homes in this series, but that's okay, that's fine. So what I did here was I was kind of adjusting it to try and see if I could get it to connect in with a sidewalk so people could walk on that ramp. And then I discovered that you couldn't. So I just put medians right there, and honestly, it didn't look that bad, and it kind of looked like a sidewalk. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then this was me trying to go in and just, overall make it look pretty. And then what I discovered was you can actually create custom, trees and stuff with the grass paths just by removing the trees with the Better Bulldozer mod, and then going in with the trees that you want. And I was able to get ones that already were grown up, so I didn't have to wait for the road to grow the trees and then get the trees and a bunch of lame stuff. And then this was me going in with a custom road that I created prior to recording this video. I put in some sound barriers on the side just to make sure that it looked good and that a lot of the single-family homes in the area wouldn't be disturbed by road noise, which is a big issue in a lot of small communities because typically they're built off of highways, and then people are like, oh, but the traffic and, the trucks and stuff, and I kind of wanted to minimize people complaining about that, which you're going to see later in the video. People are just complaining about it anyway, so it doesn't seem like you can do anything. And then I created a small little area just for the transformer station. I might honestly, because I have a lot of plans for Sonder County, so honestly, this will probably be a little different. Down here, again, just making sure that I had all the power lines along the road just to make sure that it looked detailed and it actually did look like a functioning town, since despite the fact that there are underground power lines in smaller communities, especially something like this, there is almost always overground power lines. And even in large communities, in my town, there is always some type of overground power line, because underground power lines are really expensive. And so I live in New York. Fun fact about me, I live in New York, and my town recently wanted to run it underground, but the issue is that it's so rocky, because I live near the Adirondack Mountains, so it is incredibly rocky, it's incredibly hilly, and the town that I live in, it's almost impossible to do. And given the fact that this town is near a mountain, I figured that it would be impossible to have any sort of power lines be run underground, because typically it's not usually a good idea. And then I made somewhat of a basic parking area right there because I was going to put some row homes near it. I really did make sure to pre-game this out. I do have a map, like a physical drawn-out map of the county that I've been working on, like in real life, to try and make sure that it actually looked nice. And then I decided to create a nice centerpiece for the town, which would be our water tower, followed by some internet, some basic city services, basic city skylines gameplay. And this is the first time that I actually ever went in with the editor and tried to make it look somewhat decent. So this is what me going in and really detailing up this small post office, because a lot of small postal offices, they're typically not some bright giant color. The one in my town is made of brick, but we don't have that texture yet, so I was like, okay. I also found this really neat road texture asset tool that allowed me to create this like dirtiness on the roads, and it honestly looks really, really nice, so I decided to keep that in. I removed a lot of the foliage and a lot of the outside decorations for the post office, meaning that now I could go in and make it look a little bit more industrial, since typically smaller post offices usually look like that. It's weird why it does look like that, but it just does anyways. And then I added a little parking area, some no parking strips, places where vans would park in, and I couldn't fit in a handicap spot right there, so I tried to just make do with it looking like that, which I know isn't super realistic, but maybe I'll figure out how to get rid of the actual lines for that. And then this was a huge centerpiece. This is something that it took me a decent amount of time. So this is a fake company that is residing within Sonder County. It's going to be a huge centerpiece of the county. It's called E-Coil, and of course they are a petroleum and gas company. So I decided to really make they will be in basically every town, every province, like every area of town. They're going to heavily dominate most of the gas stations that spawn within Sonder County. And being the fact that I was custom creating this gas station, I really wanted to make sure that it looked nice, and it also looked like a small town gas station. So I removed a lot of the foliage, again, a lot of the advertisements, a lot of the buildings. I edited the color to have a nice soft green, not green, orange color, my mistake. And then, again, you can see how this looks a little bit more, old. It looks not run down, but it just looks used, along with the concrete texture assets from Sully Skylines, which, honestly, that dude is a master builder when it comes down to these build in city skylines. He's honestly one of the biggest reasons why I even wanted to restart Sonder County, other than the fact that my save data was just completely destroyed. This was me also trying to fix up this interchange, or intersection rather, because it just wasn't it just didn't look nice. I didn't like the idea of cars pulling into this one-way alleyway, which I think I used on Mio's road assets, because I'm pretty sure that you can't do a one-way alleyway in City Skylines 2. And then this was me also making sure, again, I'm not expecting this town to look super duper green. The only reason why there's grass lines is because this is a very suburban town. So typically in suburban towns, they usually have grass strips on the sidewalk. I don't really know. And then this was the only dense area of town. This will probably be the only dense area of town, maybe a small apartment complex, but I used the line tool to create, and you're gonna see why this is stupid, why it's a little silly that I used the line tool to do this when I could have just plopped them down on every other building and I would have gotten the exact same effect. So I'm actually gonna end up doing that later in this episode, but just kind of don't mind it. And then I removed a lot of the grass on these row homes. Again, making sure that it looks a little bit more industrial and it looked a little bit more. Now this is the only time where I'm going to say that it actually did look run down, because honestly, it did, and that's exactly sort of what I was going for. A little bit more run down. I might change the back to have more grass. I think that would be a good idea, but honestly, that's just post-Brett talking, because this voiceover I'm recording in one take, so I'm just gonna see. And then this was me trying to reload City Skylines 2, because I was trying to fix the stamps, because they wouldn't load, and then the game just crashed. You're just gonna see it. You just see how the game just freezes, and then I end up stopping the recording right here, and then boop. Hello, welcome back to City Skylines. Yep, that's because I couldn't get any of the stamps to work, any of the gross textures to work, anything that actually looked nice to work. And it was honestly really infuriating, because I was like, did I just corrupt another save? But luckily I didn't. And then there was this weird glitch that was happening with the trees. Again, I don't know. I think I reloaded the game like a second time during this video. Yeah, and then when I reloaded the game also, because I didn't start recording until I reloaded Sonder County, it basically like reset all my settings. So my graphic settings are completely different now. It's all really, really weird. Don't mind it too much though. I do have these little like gross like dirt smudge, I don't really know what you call it, on the roads. Again, to give it texture, to give it detail. I do really like how the Paradox Interactive community has sort of like, it's sort of starting to become way better than the City Skylines 1 Steam Workshop community, because you have like actual coders now, and I can create stuff like this, and it's honestly really, really cool. And the thing is too, is I'm not even like done with this town either. This area I got a little bit lazy, and I just decided to let the game run and just spawn in the homes for me. I didn't really mind it too much, considering the fact that I don't really want to spend like 30 minutes of your guys' time just detailing this place up and making it like placing every building one by one, because I wanted some individuality, and that's sort of what City Skylines 2 is all about. And then this was me creating a nice little medical clinic. I might honestly redo this area. I don't know though. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Again, this was sort of just a placeholder to make sure everyone's happy and they didn't move out, just to see if the town even worked. Because again, I am playing on unlimited money, so like, you know, I just want to make sure that it actually is working and it does look nice. But I also do want to make sure that it's functional. Now, that also means that this city will never ever see a positive net income. I want to imagine that the state probably is paying a lot of money to have this town up and running. You guys are going to see the reason why this would be the case in a minute. Actually, not in a minute, because in a while, rather. But yeah, this was like essentially what I was just going for, just detailing it up, and by detailing, I mean just placing down trees everywhere. I mean, that's basically how much detailing I can do. Up until I ended up, I'm pretty sure I did a bunch of like stamp work and whatever. Oh yeah, this was me, again, because the game likes to reset your intersections sometimes, so I had to go in and fix that. And then I started looking at these little pedestrian assets. I didn't realize that I had stairs, and this was just me just looking at it forever, and it was pretty funny. This was like 10 minutes, by the way, sped up. But anyways, this was another row home area that I created just for the sole purpose of it looks nice. And yeah, this is basically like most of the gameplay. I kind of just really wanted to test out just like the parks, the way that you can detail in this game, and honestly, it's really nice. Like, it's way better than I originally described it being. Like, it's just way better. And then yeah, so this is Sonder County right now. It has a lot of issues. Like, there's a lot of areas that are relatively like not nice, especially this row home area. Boom, there you go. See, this is where I replaced it, because I was like, I could have done this, and then I did it. And then yeah, nice little fun little area. It's very prim, very proper. So yeah, reloading the game. This was actually an hour after I stopped playing, because I realized I had a bunch of ideas that I wanted to do, and one of them was adding in things like sewer grates and other like little details. I also managed to get the stamps to work, so I added in a bunch of cracks and sort of just wear and tear, like potholes along the area. And then I also discovered that the graffiti works, and then that's when I went over to the water tower, and I realized if it's going to be an old water tower, I've noticed a lot of old water towers in towns typically just have just a bunch of graffiti everywhere, like all over it. So I decided to add in a little area where that would be, kind of near the ladder, where like a bunch of delinquent teenagers would probably go over and mess it up. And then again, going in with the cracks. And then I actually discovered this, which is like mulch. So I placed this around water towers, which is sort of semi-realistic. Like, that's kind of how water tower, like, they typically have some type of mud around them because it's like wet and gross there. And then I also noticed that the game was playing, like, it was playing at night. So you guys are gonna see it at night a little bit, which I guess is kind of neat, but then I changed it back to normal day so you guys can actually see it. So yeah, this was also me going in again just with more detail, because I was absolutely obsessed. I figured that this is a lot better than the original Town of Oxbow that I had when I first started Sonder County, and I really hope you guys are okay with me starting over. There was basically nothing I could do with that save game. Like, it was essentially gone. It was just nuked to oblivion. But yeah, this is Oxbow for now. It will be improved a lot, especially because there's a huge amount of open land that I can use. I'm planning on posting a lot more frequently, since what I can do with these videos is I can basically just like record me playing the game and then doing a time lapse. This might be the last time I'll do a time lapse for a little bit, but you know, like, overall, doing time lapses are kind of miserable because I have to talk while the video is playing, like right now, and it feels really weird rather than just telling you guys what I'm doing, like, while playing it. And then this is just a basic firehouse. Again, there's a lot of things I still need to change. This was at like midnight, I'm pretty sure, so I went to bed right after recording this part of the video. So I was pretty tired when I did this, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I wouldn't even be surprised if at some point in this video I did end up deleting the firehouse, but I really don't know, guys. But yeah, this was the town of Oxbow, and again, I apologize that we do have to start over, but I guess, you know, second time's a charm, right? Like, not all good things last forever, and I think that that's something that, you know, we need to realize as a community of people, that, like, you know, sometimes things just change, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But I really hope that you guys are able to stick around a little bit longer and endure, because this will become something really, really huge, and I really hope that you guys just, honestly, like, if you guys just stick around for a bit, trust me, it gets good. So yeah, this is the town of Oxbow. I really hope that you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. The time's running out. Bye!